Hi, welcome to our second training lesson. This is on an alternative stair. Here we're going to build a realistic stair. We have an 8'1" tall wall and 11 7/8 TGIs in each floor system. So we have a differential here, as you can see in this chart, of 109 inches and 3/4. So 109.75. So when we divide that out to meet the maximum code allows a maximum of 7 inches for a riser and a minimum tread of 11 inches. So let's go ahead and draw that. We come out in dividing the space to 16 risers. That allows us to have an individual riser size of 6.86 inches. So we're going to draw a line, start right there on the edge, enter 6.86. Remember, you can enter fractional or decimal dimensions in Sketchup. And then we want to enter a tread of 11. And then we also want to enter, we want to come down here, we want to enter an actual tread thickness of 1.5. We're going to do a hardwood tread and pull this across. So there's our tread. Now we're going to identify two of these lines, this line and this line, and then we're going to make those components. So we're going to go to Make Component. And we want to replace the selection with the component. So we make sure that's checked. We'll give it a name, Stair 1. Since this is still selected, we can just go to our Move and hit the Control or Command key to make it plus. And we don't want to lock it on here because then our riser will not be high enough. Here is the top of our tread. And how many times more do we want it to go up? 15 times, because we need 16 total. Now you notice here we have a gap. So let's identify this, triple click on it, and let's just draw a line. We want to draw a line from here to here that's going to be part of that component. So as we look here, all the rest of these have that gap filled. Now we're ready to start drawing our carriage. Right click, close component, draw a line from here to there. Now how deep is our carriage? We'll identify this line, go to Move, pick our plus option, and we want to make this approximately parallel, stay on the face, 11.25 inches. Now we want to extend these lines. The easiest way to do it is just find the endpoint and extend these. Now you notice it says parallel to the edge, because the parallel to the edge, we selected the line and it treats it as an edge, so we're parallel to that edge. And then we want to do the same thing on this end, and we'll pull it all the way up here. Draw another line right here, and we need one along the bottom. Remember that we have a line here, but it's inside the group that is the walls. We'll go to Draw a Line. Let's go into our outliner, and we're going to hide the wall and floor. As we learned in our previous lesson, we need to select this, right click on it, say Explode, because we won't be changing this again. Then we need to draw a line from here to here. All we need to do is just define one of those edges, and then it'll find that entire surface for us to work with. So we'll double click on that and say Make a Group. Then we'll triple click on it. We're inside the group. We'll identify it. We're going to push pull this 1.5 inches. There is the carriage for our stairs. Now, depending on structural conditions, you might either need 2 or 3 of these. At least 2, but you might need an additional one in the center. But for right now, we're just going to leave this one here. Now we're ready to start making our treads. Let's close the group, and we're going to push pull this into place. So this tread we're going to push pull, and we want a 39-inch wide tread. Code requires 36-inch minimum. Unless you're in a higher occupancy building, then you need to be 44 inches. We'll triple click on this and make this a component, and we'll call it tread. Now we can identify this group, move copy it from what point. We want to pick this endpoint. Make sure we hit our plus sign so we're making a copy, and the plus is entered by the Control key on the PC and Command on the Mac. And we'll just place it at this end. Let's identify this, and we want to move and copy this. So move Control to there 15 times. It makes copies at the same incremental distance, same distance from here to here, all the way up the stairway. Now we'll triple click this, so we're inside the component. We're going to decide on a nosing. We just want a simple nosing. Nosings are only allowed to be 1.25 inches projection beyond the face of the riser. We'll have a riser below this on the face of the carriage. We could make this 2 inches, because we're going to put a 3/4 inch thick riser on this. So we'll make it 2. We'll enter 2. Come down here. Now we're going to use a command called fillet. This is a Ruby plugin that you can download for free off the web. So you identify this line, hold down the plus, the control key, identify that line, go to the commands. It asks for the radius. How much of a radius do we want on this? Let's say we want a 1/2 inch. And then we want the same thing on the bottom. So we'll identify that line, control key for plus, go to fillet, radius, 0.5. So now we have a surface that we can utilize here. Now, how are we going to treat the edge here? The fillet command does not work well on 3 edges meeting at a point. We're just going to draw a rectangle that's 0.5 in each direction. So we'll pull it in the direction we want, 0.5 comma 0.5. And then we'll know exactly where we need to draw an arc. And then we can use our push-pull tool, go all the way to the bottom, and just delete that. And in the extra lines, we can erase. Now we're going to use the Follow Me tool, identify the surface, and then just follow the red line until we carry that edge all the way around. So now you can see that all the treads have that modification made to them. Now if the tread were locked to the carriage, then we couldn't make this modification as a component. So we'll delete the extra lines that we have here. Now this line actually defines some of the surfaces that are hidden here. If we go to View, Hidden Geometry, you can see all the extra surfaces that we have hidden along this edge. So we don't want to delete any of these surfaces that define that fillet or the rounded corner all the way around our tread. So now we're ready to draw the newel post. So the first thing we want to do is close the component. So we'll right click, close the component. Now we're ready to start locating our newel post. We can locate an end spindle here too if we wish. But the first thing we have to do is locate some newel posts either from 3D Warehouse or some other source. Or you can design one from scratch. We're going to create our own real quick. So we've drawn a 2x2 rectangle and push-pulled it up to 36 inches. Then we came up here, drew a line at 8 inches, and then drew 4 lines on the axis. Now we'll identify those 4 lines by holding down the control key, and then hit our control key again so we make a copy, and then we can delete the faces in between. Now let's zoom in on the top of this one. We're going to draw a line across the diagonal. Then we're going to draw a circle from the center to here. Then we're going to draw a line from here up to this face. So now we're going to draw a pattern for our newel post. We're just going to come across here, draw a line. So let's draw a line on the blue axis from to there, and then we'll put a little reveal in to there. So this is going to be a little bit more modern newel post. So we have one more line here, then we'll draw an arc from this point to this point, and just pull it out on the green axis so it matches this point. Draw another line coming up. Let's infer across. Another line here. So we'll draw another line here, one up, and this one we want to come out and go up the blue, and then we're going to come back and draw that. But then we're going to draw another line here. You'll see what we're going to do in just a second. We wanted an angle there, so then we'll draw one more line. Let's rotate this up. Sometimes when you're trying to select or infer points through a surface, it might not do it. So there, now we have a surface. Now all we have to do is delete these 2 lines. So now we have a surface that we can use the Follow Me tool. Let's zoom in here, follow me, identify this surface, pick our circle, and just slowly follow it around till it closes. Now we have a custom newel post. Let's identify that, and we'll make it a component. We'll call this newel post. Now this is 2 inch by 2 inch at the base, so let's lay these out before we place any on our stairs. Now code requires that we have less than a 4-inch opening anywhere. So if these are 2 inch by 2 inch, let's just draw on this surface, and let's go up to this side. So if we want to draw a line, remember we're 2 inches out, so we have a couple layout lines now. We came in 2 inches off from the edge. We have a 2-inch newel post then. So we laid out a couple more lines here. These are 3 inches away. And And then we pulled off 2 inches from above, from this upper edge. So that leaves 1.5 inches. So if we move this 1/2 inch, then we're going to be under the 4-inch requirement. So we're going to identify this, identify that with our plus key, and then move. What distance? 0.5. We'll have 2 newel posts per step. So let's go to our components. We'll go to Window, Components, make sure that's checked, and here's our newel post. Make sure you go to In the Model, because if you go outside the model, you're going to be able to load components from outside the drawing. And we'll just drag that over here, and we're going to copy that, and we're going to copy one to there, copy it again from that point to that point. Now let's just zoom in here, use our tape measure from this edge to that edge. We're going to have a little bit of a problem. We're 4 1/16 of an inch, so we're a little bit too far away. You're going to have to analyze whether newel posts are close enough together to make this work. So we're going to readjust these a little bit. We're going to move this one over. So we identify it, move, and I'm just going to pick a point down here away from the object so I don't have to accidentally snap to something I don't want to see. And I want to move this 1 inch. And this one I just want to move over 1/2 inch. So if I measure this, I can measure from here to here 5 inches. These are 2 inches. So I need 1.5 inches between each one. So I identify the newel post, use my copy, pick this. So I'm going to need to move this over 3.5 inches because I had 5 plus the thickness. So I'll enter 3.5. So there are my 3 newel posts. Now down below I'm only going to need 2 of those. So I'm going to pick my 2 upper ones, identify this one, identify that one. We've got those identified. We need a from point. So this is the end point in the component. We're going to pick that. Hit our plus key, which is the control key, and come down here and locate those 2 right there. Now the rest of these, each one of these is a component. They're all identical right now. So we're going to identify these 2 upper ones. These are going to be the longest ones out of the group when we make our handrail. We're going to right click and say make these unique. Then we're going to identify this one and make those unique. And identify just this one, we don't have one of those down there, and make this unique. So we have 3 unique occurrences of the newel post. So if you look here, we have 2 newel post number 1s, we have 2 number 2s, and 1 number 3. Now, instead of copying these to 1 step at a time, we're only going to have to copy them once. So we identify this one, and this one. Go to Move with the plus key, find our endpoint in the component right here, and there's our other one, 14 times. So now you can see that all those go up the stairs together.